All right. So we're live, which I have to warn you means we're on the internets, and you have to be careful about what you say now because it will be recorded for the rest of time. Um, but the good part about recording our Hangouts is that we are going to develop a library of sorts, and then as part of our community of practice, other people, when they are thinking about joining the group, can sort of look through these and see what we've been up to. So Ryan, Rebecca, thank you very much for joining the new member Hangout. I think what I want to do is just really simple, just sort of introduce ourselves a little bit and see where we're at and why you decided to join Raise the Bar, and then what we can do for you. And I don't want to be on here very long, off shortly 3:30 or shortly thereafter. Why don't we start? Hannah was supposed to be on the call, and because I messed up the times, she is going to have to do another one. So unfortunately, it's just going to be the three of us. But why don't we start just by introducing ourselves and our camps and sort of what kind of camp we run. So Rebecca, I'm going to ask you to go first, and then Ryan, and then I'll go.
Cool. Sorry. So my organization is actually not new to Raise the Bar, just me. Jessica, the girl who was in my position before me, she joined I don't know how long ago. Maybe Matt knows more than I do. So I've been at Steve's camp, Horizon Farms, that's the name of my organization, since October. And what else do you want to know? What kind of camp we are?
Yeah. What is Steve's camp?
Okay, so we we're located in Brooklyn, our offices, but our camp is up in Catskills. It's a working farm. And we recruit kids from all over the city and bring them up to camp for 12 days sessions. It's completely free to them. But while they're up there, they're getting to work on the farm, so like collecting their own eggs in the morning, things like that, but also doing things they've never done before as far as like canoeing, horseback riding, that type of stuff. But then there's also systems workshops where they're learning doing team building and kind of ways to manage their feelings and work through them and things like that. But then after they leave camp, and this is kind of the part we're growing right now, after they leave camp, we don't want them to just kind of like feel really awesome after their 12 days and then go back into the city and not know how to apply those concepts when they're there. So we also have year-round programming that we do focused on food studies and helping them prepare for college and apply to colleges. And then we have a mentorship program as well.
How old are your kids?
They're in high school. Well, they're from 8th grade until through high school.
And so you carry them from 8th grade through to college?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's great.
And a lot of them, the stat might be wrong, but I think it's 80% of our counselors are alumni. Wow. So they stay with us even if they come as CATs, and they stay on as counselors.
Wow. Very cool. And how do you identify your kids?
We have a bunch of partner schools that we work with, but most of our schools, the population is free and reduced lunch.
Free, right? Okay. And how many? You run 12-day sessions. How many kids at a time?
Right now we're anywhere between 35 and 40. We're pretty small, but we're trying to get up to 200 kids this summer.
And so that's 35 to 40 per session, or 30 per session. And how many sessions do you run?
4.
4 sessions.
2 boy sessions and 2 girl sessions.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Ryan, any questions for Rebecca?
No, it sounds like an awesome program, actually. Sounds really cool. So,
all right, great. So Ryan, what about you? Who are
you? What's that?
I said, who are you and where are you from?
So Ryan, I'm with AdventureLinks. We're based in Northern Virginia, actually Clifton, so 40 minutes outside of DC. We run day camps, a lot of day camps, residential camps, and then also traveling expeditions for kids in the Northern Virginia, DC area. For fall, all 3 seasons, spring, summer, fall. We're also an outdoor education center, so we serve a lot of Fairfax County, Arlington County, two very large counties in the metropolitan area by doing environmental education and team building. We have a high ropes course. We also do throughout the summer. Pretty much all of our programming is centered around adventure. So a lot of rock climbing, caving, paddling, and then backpacking, hiking, so on and so forth. So I think that's pretty much it. We serve rising second through 12th graders, so pretty much the entire span. Um, no real specific target. We do. This area tends to be very affluent, so we get a lot of affluent children. A lot of our clients are Fairfax, Arlington County, which are two very nice counties and booming counties at the moment. So it's kind of where we pull from.
And so you're running a business, right?
Yes, so it is a for-profit. I'm not running it. I just happen to be the low-paid camp director.
Right.
But yeah, so I think where we fit into raise the bar in our goals, there's never really been any data-driven. There's really never been any data collection.
Yeah.
It's really the big thing. And for me, I want to improve our programming because I think there is a need to improve it. But I also wanted to kind of look at the implications for collecting data throughout the rest of the year as well, because we work with so many fifth, sixth graders doing environmental education and just getting kids outside. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So that's kind of where we fit into everything.
And how many kids do you have, and how long are your sessions?
During our camps, it's a max of 13, and we'll hopefully be running 96 of those sessions this summer. So
96 sessions, a max of 13
per session.
Kids.
Yes, 13 kids. Yeah.
13 kids, got it. And how many days are the sessions?
5 days. Some are 2 weeks.
Okay, so these are the expeditions you're talking about.
No. So our day camps are 5 days. They have a max of 13. Our expeditions range from 1 to 2 weeks. And then our res camp, we have 1 week res and then 2 week res as well. Those are max of 26 kids.
Okay.
Lots of numbers on this end.
Yeah. And so your role? You're the camp director.
Yeah. So I just stepped in 4 months ago now.
Congratulations.
So, thanks. I'm new to all of this.
Are you new to camp?
No. So I've been working in camps for 2 years. Prior to that, I was a geologist for 3 years, and then just kind of happened to wander back into camp. So.
You run the Outdoor Ed season 2?
What was that?
You run the Outdoor Ed season 2?
No, so the lady across the hall is our program director. So she works with our outdoor education and kind of combine our roles in the summer.
Rebecca, I don't think we talked about what your position is at Steve's camp.
Yeah, so I'm the director of operations. So I actually am not at camp during the summer. I will go up there probably 3 or 4 times throughout the summer, but the executive director is actually the camp director. So he'll be
all right. This is a business. It's the family business. My folks started it with their 4 business partners in the 70s. Just sort of by accident, they wanted to. We are also on a farm, Rebecca, in central Pennsylvania, north of Harrisburg, between Harrisburg and State College. So probably, Ryan, 3 hours from you, and Rebecca 4.5 from you. Rebecca, I used to live in Brooklyn. I don't know where you are, but I was in.
Long Island. Right
Where?
Now. I'm on Long Island right now.
Oh, you're on Long Island. Okay,
We're in downtown Brooklyn.
Okay, right. So right near there. Yeah, my parents started it, and then there were 6 of them, and then one by one, they left the business to go do other things, and my mom was on her own from 95 to 2010, and starting in 2010, we sort of slowly began a transition, and it just finished like in January when we finally signed the paperwork. So my business partner, who's my age, and I now own the business and the property, and lots of debt. what comes along with that. And so my mom is still with us. Thank the good Lord. And but it's the three of us in the office. My partner's name is Louise, and Louise and she lives right next to the farm with her husband, and I live right next to the farm with my wife, and so we run the business, and we have two programs: a leadership camp for teens here for 12 to 18-year-olds, mainstream kids, similar to you, Ryan, I imagine, affluent families largely,
Right.
um, and then a mini camp for children and tweens, ages 8 to 12, and that's the leadership camp for teens is 2 3-week sessions back to back. That's half the kids probably combined for 6, and then the mini camp is just one 10-day session for 8 to 12-year-olds.
Awesome.
We do a lot of scholarshiping. We have some merit scholarships and then a lot of need-based scholarships. We partner with youth organizations, sort of like Steve's camp, actually. Summer Search is one that you may be familiar with, and then two others. So that diversity is really has been great for us, has really helped us, and we pride ourselves in the diversity that we have achieved. I think that we're in Raise the Bar in large part because we believe that we do great things for kids, but it's just more it's pretty much faith and based on anecdotes, and we have examples of great things we've done. But I can't help but wonder, like, on average, do we actually help our kids, and is there any way to determine that with some level of certainty? So that's why when this cropped up a few years ago, I was amped. I was really excited to try to figure out how to identify that, and I don't have the answer. I mean, it's more of a process. We have identified a company that we really like working with, and they do some assessment for us, so I love that. Um, I mean, we do the assessment, but it's using their instrument, and it's their software crunching all the numbers and spitting it back out. So um, yeah, so I really like that. But we had never done any measurement prior to this. So 2014 was our first year, and I went in very confident and totally messed it up. In 2015, like, I went in less confident and did quite a bit better. So I find that yeah, we're definitely learning. Um, but the Raise the Bar, the group has been awesome. I mean, it has been really just. I kind of grew up. I grew up in a business family, like a small business family, and so I think the way my parents, sort of their, I don't know, attitude kind of was like, you don't share your business with other people. That's like, it's very private, and it's something that somebody could take it from you, and just take whatever, and it's a it was in mentality. That was what I grew up with, and so that's what I sort of thought it was. And then this um, this culture is much more about sharing and, like, sort of helping people, and I feel like much more. I like this a lot better. I like sort of not worrying about people stealing my stuff, and that like, it was like, maybe you have something that you could teach me, and maybe I have something that I've learned that I could help you with, and that for me is much easier, and I feel like that Longacre benefits significantly from the sort of sharing of information. And I don't even know what we've gotten. I don't know that we've gotten anything, like, specifically, but just the act of being in a conversation with other people who are being intentional about camp, that act, like, really helps us be on our game. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It does. Definitely does to me. I think that mentality really came through during your talk at ACA, where we're all kind of in this together. We're all doing the same thing. We're all trying to affect youth, and that was one of the big pushes that came from ACA on my end, because coming into this company and this role, it's been, well, we have these competitors, but are they actually competitors? Because we're all, I mean, ultimately doing the same thing. Granted, I mean, profit is profit, and we need money to stay alive. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, so creating a better product for our kids is the goal.
Yeah, and one of the ways that I look at it is, it's definitely. I mean, I'm just saying conceptually. Like, conceptually, you could, let's say I don't want to join Raise the Bar because I'm not really interested in being that sort of open about how we do things, and that's totally cool. You can do that. But then what like for instance, if Longacre would do that, then Longacre would be existing sort of in a rather isolated manner next to this group of camps that is sort of vibrant and synergistic. And
Right.
I guess if I had to choose between being the camp that is isolated and guarded and protecting myself, I definitely see the merit of that in a sort of short-term sense. But I think uh, the the advantage, I think, would go to the vibrant, synergistic group of businesses and organizations that are sort of working together over here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we only have whatever 50 camps, so we're
Right.
probably losing at this point, given all the camps that have not opted yet to join our amazing community of practice. Rebecca, do you guys have no history of measurement? Is that right?
No, we do. So Jessica, who was speaking before me, she had a long history of evaluation.
Okay.
And this past, I think it was last year, we joined this organization called Team, and they set us up with this new way to evaluate our programs through, actually don't know what exactly they are, but Algorithm Associates.
Okay, so we're with Algorithm as well.
Yeah. So so that was our last summer was our first summer with them.
Okay, great.
That we did, in-house created surveys. And we were evaluating programs, but so Algorithm takes it to a different level, right? Because it's comparing it across all different camps. So maybe you and I were in the same.
I think we were. I mean, and Fiverr. I don't know if you know Fiverr.
Fiverr. Well, I don't know them personally, but I know who they are. Yeah.
Okay, so Fiverr just joined, and they're an Algorithm, and so is Trailblazers. Do you know Trailblazers?
Yeah.
So they're with Algorithm too. And I think I don't know if Fiverr found them through YouThink, but if I was an organization in New York City, I would be banging on YouThink's door because it sounds like they are amazing. The only thing I've heard about them just sounds like it's a very cool they just essentially help you be better at your stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Yeah. So that's where we are right now, and we're kind of. I don't know if either of you guys, because you're fee-based, also apply for grants. Excuse me, but having these stats from Algorithm, right now we're trying to kind of synthesize them in a way that will help us apply for funding.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, that's interesting. We should probably have like an algorithm huddle at some point because we're still trying to figure out, and Ryan, maybe you could comment on this too. It's for nonprofit. I think it's very clear how to use the metrics, and because you have funders who you are breaking down your metrics for in a very rational way. You're making a rational case for why they should fund your program and the efficacy of your program. And for profit is not like that. It's like images and language and it's so at any rate, I guess what I'm saying is I haven't figured out how to use the numbers that I like 92% of Longacre farmers have shown growth in one of our core measurement outcome areas. Like it doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Yeah.
And so we're still I don't know whether I'm happy with my numbers or not because I don't have anything to compare them to. But I could spin them in a way that sounds nice, but it doesn't. It's not something that we've really figured out a way to use in our marketing materials to make us sound like we know what we're doing. Or I think our anecdotes make us sound like what we're doing, and our philosophy and our values and those things indicate. But the evidence, quote unquote, I haven't really figured that part out yet.
Yeah. I really the biggest thing for me is just having those numbers to back up the anecdotal evidence. I mean, every camp has the stories. We have a ton of stories here, but then we also have so many people in this area who are caught up on numbers. And if we could show them, 68% showed a change in this, maybe that would help them with realizing it. I'm not sure. For me, it's more about just developing programs that that are truly effective, and we can measure the effectiveness outside of Johnny saying that was the best week ever. Um, so
Yeah, and I think that in identifying what your reason for measuring is really important because we're all going to come at this at a slightly different in a
right.
slightly different way. Um, well, what is there? Are there any sort of immediate needs that you guys have? We certainly will have you jump into the fray, but if there's anything specific that you guys have questions like introductions that I could try to help facilitate, or questions about the way Raise the Bar works or anything like that.
I think a big question for me is there a standard method that everybody in Raise the Bar is using, or a standard measurement that everybody's using? How do you keep it standard so that you can compare? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
All
So
right,
this is a
cool.
fundamental question about Raise the Bar, and the answer is there is not.
Okay,
So there were two ways to go about this when we were sort of getting started. One was get everybody on the same page and sort of force them into a narrow thing, and that way we're on the same page. And the risk of that is that small numbers are going to join because most people are not going to be on the same page. Ryan, what you want is to measure responsibility with your instrument, and Rebecca, what you want is to measure independence with your instrument. And so you guys are not on the same page. So that was one avenue, and the advantages was you could compare. And the other avenue was to let everybody do whatever they wanted, and just to try to focus on volume with the expectation that once you reach, 100, 200, 300, I don't know what it is, there's going to be enough overlap no matter what you're doing, whether you're a religious camp or secular camp or agency camp or day camp or overnight camp or low-income kids or affluent kids, whatever. Everybody would have some overlap. So what we did was we decided just to go let everybody in and be inclusive and not push anything specific. So there is no standardization, um, and I think it was a good choice because I think that there isn't a right answer. There's not like like Rebecca and I are using algorithm, but a lot of folks are using the youth outcomes battery out of the ACA, and one guy is in California, just hooked up with the Stanford Graduate School of Education, and another guy in Austin has hooked up with this like prestigious young researcher at UT Austin. And who's to say that like one of us is more right than the other? So I like the innovative sort of way to do it. The problem is that when you first get in, if you're not measuring, it seems like it's totally disorganized. And where's the program? What am I, um, what can you give me? And I think that the just being part of a community of practice, albeit a young one, has taken some adjustment because I'd never been a part of this before. So I don't even really know how a community of practice works. Um, does that kind of answer your question?
yeah, yeah, it does.
We
Definitely.
want to get to the point where you can huddle with your sort of like camps and compare your stuff. And there are ways that you can do that now. The easiest one is through the Youth Outcomes Battery. This is also one of the reasons that we joined Algorithm, was because part of what they're offering is you submit your data to their database, and then in addition to getting your own personal results, they'll also benchmark you relative to other people in the cohort. Now, they're still working on that. I mean, there's lots of variability. You have uh, high achieving kids and low achieving kids. You have day camps and resident camps. You have 10-day sessions and 40-day sessions. So it's kind of hard to like find apples to apples. But the point is that they're trying to do it, and they're putting a lot of
Right.
money into doing it.
Cool. Awesome.
Other questions? All right, so we released those priorities the other day. I think that in a sense we are moving now. We're up against just sort of volunteer hours, so we're going to be able to do as many things as people volunteer for, and we'll see how many people want to do stuff. It, th- there's the joining the hangouts, and a lot of people do that, but there's then their actual sort of, I don't know what you call it, behind the scenes work that is just clerical stuff, I guess. And that stuff just takes hours, and everybody's volunteering. There's no budget or anything, like no staff. So if you guys want something, please, say what you want, and we'll try to make it happen. Like somebody yesterday said, hey, I'm interested in youth outcomes battery, but I don't want to pay the money without really seeing a demo. Can you guys, do you know if we could demo youth outcomes battery? And so I just like called Deb, and I'm like, Deb, can you demo the YOB? And I just get back exclamation points, like she's so excited. So that's what. So it's I think the value is in the sort of cross cohort interaction, and finding people that are interesting to you, and that you can help them, and they can help you. So if you can join the Hangouts, you'll start to get to recognize people, and if you need something, ask for it, and just keep in touch. Now, you'll also, one of the things I'm learning also about a community practice is that there's sort of a curve. So like some people contribute, are like active, and other people are not active, and I was sort of worried about that at first. And then actually in Atlanta, I was talking to a woman who has done these in the past, and said, don't worry about it. That's totally how it is. Like some people you're never going to hear from, and just keep them on your email list, and they're going to like pop up sometime when they have time, and it's totally fine. Don't try to like get them out of there or harass them. Just let them be. And it was so nice. It was like so reassuring.
Cool.
What else? Rebecca, any questions?
No, well, maybe you kind of emailed this to me, like I think back in January when I first
Go ahead and ask it.
was supposed to be part of it. What is is there like a certain commitment we're supposed to be having? Like, I guess you kind of just touched on that, but like, obviously it's going to benefit us to be part of these conversations, but do you have like 2 a year or something like that type of thing to be involved in this?
What I like to say is like a couple hours a month. So if you give a couple hours a month, I think that would be great. So whether that be in emails, whether that be in helping us do something, whether that be in going to Hangouts, I think that's great. If you can't, you can't, and that's not a big deal. And remember, we all bail for the summer, so it's really like only 9 months of the year, something like that. But there are some folks who have joined, and since they joined, we haven't heard from them, like not a single email. So, but they're still in it. So you take what you need. It's really, there's no like penalty. We have no stick. That I'm without a stick. Anything else? Okay, so you guys have my email. Let me know if you have questions. I'm trying to get somebody on. I think we're going to have a couple hangouts here. There's a couple in the pipeline, and if we can get them on the calendar, I'll let you know. And if I don't talk to you again before the summer, I hope you guys have great summers.
You too. Thanks.
Right. See you, Ryan. Bye, Rebecca.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.